The prosecution would like to call its first witness. Your Honor, I call Assistant Chief of Police Robert Swanigan to the stand.
My name is Robert Swanigan. I'm the Assistant Chief of Police with the Georgetown Police Department.
Can you tell us more about what your investigation uncovered?
I had been searching for the statue of Elijah Craig ever since it was stolen from Royal Spring Park. There were very few leads at first, most of which led to dead ends. That is until I received a call from an anonymous tipster who told me that the statue was at Ward Hall. I drove there immediately. The front door was open, so I walked into the living room.
And what did you see when you entered the room?
The statue of Elijah Craig. I also saw a man there. He was standing next to the statue.
Is that man in the courtroom today? And if so, can you point to him? No further questions, Your Honor.
Did you see the defendant place the statue in the house?
I did not.
Did you conduct any forensic analysis of the crime scene? Dust for fingerprints? Collect any evidence?
I never dust for fingerprints. I have very bad allergies, and the dust in my fingerprint kit causes them to flare up.
Did you have a warrant to search the defendant's property?
There wasn't time to get a warrant. I knew I had to act fast before the perpetrator could escape.
How much does that statue weigh?
What is this, a carnival? I don't like to play guessing games, counselor.
Objection. Counsel is badgering the witness.
Overruled. That dog don't hunt here.
And how do you suppose the defendant transported such a heavy statue?
A criminal mind is a creative mind. I'm sure he had his methods.
And why do you think the defendant wanted to steal that statue?
You would have to ask him that question, but he probably did it just for kicks, just for jollies, just to get his rocks off.
So no eyewitness testimony, no forensic evidence, and no motive. And yet you decided to arrest Mr. Lewis anyway.
State your full name for the record.
My name is Ann Huber. I'm from Georgetown, born and raised. I'm a real estate agent. By the way, Your Honor, if you're thinking about buying or selling, here's my card. I've known David Lewis for years. A few days ago, he approached me about buying Ward Hall to use as his personal residence. He loved the history of the house, but he also wanted to modernize the property with a few updates. If I recall correctly, those included adding a shooting range in the front yard, an Olympic-sized jacuzzi tub in the backyard, and a helicopter pad on the roof. He also mentioned something about removing the brick and replacing it with vinyl siding.
That's quite a story.
Well, buying Ward Hall was his dream, and as his real estate agent, I helped him realize his dream.
So by selling Ward Hall to Mr. Lewis, that makes you an accessory. Isn't that correct, Ms. Huber?
Hello, I'm Michael Crisp, and this is my dog Jarvis.
I'm not your dog, you're my human. There's a difference.
Anyway, we're here to talk to you about health insurance.
Health insurance? That's about as exciting as watching paint dry.
I have access to plans that offer first dollar benefits, low deductibles, and unlimited major medical coverage.
Can I choose my own doctors? I'm very picky about who sees me naked.
You sure can. Because these are PPO plans, you can choose your own doctors and you don't need a referral to see a specialist.
That sounds too good to be true. So what's the catch?
No catch, you just have to medically qualify. These plans are designed for healthy people. Just call me and I'll ask you a few questions over the phone, and in just a few minutes we'll see if you qualify.
Are fleas considered a pre-existing condition? I'm asking for a friend.
No, Jarvis.
Good to know.
Today's episode of Georgetown, the Animated Series, is brought to you by
Ann Huber, realtor with Lifestyle Real Estate. Born and raised in Georgetown, nobody knows the local housing market like Ann. If you're buying or selling, you can trust Ann to put her knowledge and experience to work for you. The Georgetown Insider. The stories aren't real, but they're real funny. And Georgetown Scott County Parks and Recreation. Growing strong roots for a healthy community.
I'm still not comfortable with all of this.
Oh, don't worry. That dog is like Rasputin. You couldn't kill him if you tried.
And you're sure Mayor Prather is okay with this?
He sure is. He would tell you himself, but he's down at the trial right now getting ready to testify. I'll be heading there too right after we get that paddle.
Jarvis, listen to me. I need you to be brave. I need you to be strong. And I need you to sign this waiver, which says that GSC Parks isn't liable for any death or dismemberment that may result from what you're doing today.
Very well, but considering I'm a dog, I doubt this will stand up in court. All right, Michael, let's get this over with, shall we?
Sounds good. Just keep your cell phone handy and we'll be able to communicate with each other while you're in the air. Got it?
Got it.
All right. Here goes nothing. How's it going up there, Jarvis? Do you see anything?
Nothing yet, but the view of Interstate 75 from up here is spectacular.
That's great, but what about the paddle?
I see the paddle. It's laying on top of the tower. If you can lower me just a few feet, I can reach it.
That's great, Jarvis. I'm going to lower you down, so hold on.
Be careful, Michael. If that dog gets hurt, you'll be in a world of trouble.
You're right, Nathan. Ann wouldn't be too happy with me if I let something happen to Jarvis.
I was talking about the Scott County Humane Society.
Just a little more. That's it. I've got it. Oh, it's a lot heavier than it looks. I bet you could really bust some butts with this thing.
Great job, Jarvis. Once again, you saved the day. Now let's get back to Georgetown.
So we can return the paddle to Mayor Prather?
No, so we can save David Lewis.
Your Honor, I call Mayor Tom Prather to the stand.
By the way, Landy, congratulations on your career change. So, you're no longer working at the auto dealership?
I got tired of selling cars and decided to give this judge thing a try.
I'm sorry, where was I? Oh yes, Tom Prather. I'm mayor of this here fine city.
And how long have you held this position?
As long as I can remember, dear lady. I served as mayor several years ago and retired, but the citizens demanded that I return and serve again, so I did. Little did I know that my recent tenure would be marred by this heinous crime. But alas, heavy is the head that wears the crown.
And when did you notice the statue was missing?
It was at the statue dedication. One minute it was there, the next it was gone.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Mayor Prather, it is an honor and a privilege to be speaking with you today, sir.
Oh, Rodney, the honor is all mine. You are one of Georgetown's finest sons, a gentleman and a scholar, a shining star that burns brightly over Scott County.
No further questions, Your Honor. The defense would like to call its first witness. Your Honor, I call Michael Crisp to the stand. Mr. Crisp, can you tell us what you remember about that day?
I remember standing there in the park talking with you and Nathan. Mayor Prather had just unveiled the statue and then he came over to join us. A few minutes later, the statue was gone.
So you didn't see anyone take that statue?
No, I did not.
And the theft of that statue is all part of a larger mystery. Is that correct?
Yes. Shortly after the statue went missing, several items were stolen from City Hall. There's a secret room there with important artifacts from Georgetown's history. A thief broke into the room and stole these items just about the same time that statue was stolen. I believe these crimes are connected.
No further questions, Your Honor.
You may cross-examine, counsel.
Mr. Crisp, What were you doing at Royal Spring Park that day?
I love Georgetown, so I was there supporting my city. One minute I was at Royal Spring Park, the next minute I was at City Hall in the secret room.
A secret room? Sounds a little fishy to me.
The room wasn't fishy. Now, if you want fishy, let me tell you about the giant catfish at Mallard Point Lake.
Mr. Crisp, you're an author, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
I'm not familiar with your work. What type of books do you write?
Mainly books about Kentucky. You know, its people, places, things to do, stuff like that.
Do you write children's books, Mr. Crisp? Because the story you're telling sounds to me like a fairy tale.
Objection, Your Honor. Counsel knows that Mr. Crisp is a best-selling author of nonfiction books.
Sustained.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Please raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
More or less.
Good enough for me.
Please state your name for the record.
My name is David Lewis.
And what line of work are you in, Mr. Lewis?
I own Creative Concrete and Flooring Design. We mainly do concrete finish work, but I prefer to think of myself as an architect of dreams.
And is your business very successful?
Very much so. I'm blessed to be rich and good-looking, but it wasn't always this way. I used to only be good-looking.
I bet this whole ordeal has been extremely difficult for you.
Yes, it has. This whole thing has been a nightmare. I just want to go home to my wife, my child, and most importantly, my concrete.
Mr. Lewis, did you steal the statue of Elijah Craig?
Of course not.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Lewis, you're in the concrete business, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So one might say that you have a concrete fetish. Is that true?
Objection, Your Honor. What Mr. Lewis does in his spare time with concrete is nobody's business but his own.
Sustained. The jury will disregard that last statement.
Mr. Lewis, you consider yourself an upstanding member of our community?
Yes, I suppose so.
Is it true that you've been kicked out of multiple restaurants in Georgetown for being drunk and unruly?
Objection, Your Honor. That's irrelevant.
I'll allow it.
I don't know if you'd say I've been kicked out necessarily, but yes, I've been asked to leave several local establishments. But these were all simple misunderstandings.
You really expect us to believe that, Mr. Lewis?
Look, I don't care what you believe. Am I not welcome in a few local restaurants due to rude and obnoxious behavior? Yes. Am I banned for life at most of these places? Probably. But does that mean I stole the statue of Elijah Craig? The answer is a definitive no. I am many things, Ms. Literal, many things, but a thief is not one of them.
Members of the jury, the evidence in this case is clear. David Lewis stole the statue of Elijah Craig. He thought that he could get away with it, but he thought wrong. This was a felony crime against not only the state of Kentucky, but the good people of our community. David Lewis is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. So I ask you to do the right thing today and return a guilty verdict. This man should not be allowed to pour concrete floors, much less walk the streets of Georgetown as a free man. I ask you, good members of the jury, to do the right thing today. Return a guilty verdict and send a message to all of Scott County that crime doesn't pay.
Members of the jury, for centuries, mankind has wrestled with the existential question, why are we here? Today, all of us in this courtroom are asking ourselves the same question, why are we here? The prosecution has no evidence to support its claim that my client, a successful businessman and beloved member of our community, stole the statue of Elijah Craig. There is no reason we should be here today in this courtroom. David Lewis is an innocent man who belongs at home with his family, not locked away in a prison. We are here to free an innocent man because justice demands it. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I ask that you return a verdict of not guilty. Thank you.
Has the jury reached a verdict? Will the defendant please rise? The jury foreperson will now read the verdict.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, David Lewis, not guilty of the charges of felony theft.
This case is dismissed. Mr. Lewis, you are free to go.
Is that one of them new electric vehicles?
It sure is. This is a prototype. It hasn't even hit the market yet.
I'm partial to gas engines myself. This country was founded on internal combustion. Give me American muscle any day of the week.
Well, this vehicle gets 300 miles on a single charge.
Oh, hell. That thing ain't nothing but a glorified golf cart. If I designed that vehicle, you could bet it would look a lot different.
Oh, really? How so?
Well, for starters, I'd scrap that electric motor for a supercharged V8 with 2 4-barrel carburetors. That way you don't have to worry about that damn chip shortage.
I see, but that would certainly add several pounds to the vehicle.
I'd cut weight by taking out the airbags and all the safety features. I bet that would shave a full second off your quarter mile.
That could pose several issues with the aerodynamics.
Well, I'd put in a big old hood scoop to take in enough air for that fire-breathing dragon under that hood. Then I'd throw me a damn spoiler on the back. That way you get enough downforce so she don't get too loose on the turns.
That's brilliant. Say, would you be available to meet me later this afternoon?
Hold it right there, honey. I'm a happily married man. You can look all you want. You just ain't allowed to touch.
It's strictly business, I assure you. I'd like to pick your brain and hear more of your ideas.
Sure, I don't mind a bit. I'm a wealth of knowledge, and I don't mind sharing the wealth.
Thanks for your estimate, Kyle. So if we choose Empire Restoration, how long do you think the job will take?
It depends. Your current shingles are pretty old and they all need to be replaced. How big is the factory again?
It's 7.5 million square feet of covered floor space. That's the equivalent of 156 football fields.
Well, if my crew and I get started bright and early next week, we should probably finish it in 8 years, maybe 7 if we have good weather.
Perfect. You're hired. I'll be in touch next week and we can firm up details. Ah, there you are. Good to see you again. Please, come in.
All right, but give me a minute to catch my breath first. I parked my truck over by gate 7 and had to walk about an hour to get up here.
That's quite all right. By the way, we weren't properly introduced when we met earlier today. My name is Sarah Worthington, and I'm the president of Toy Motor Manufacturing.
Pleased to meet you. I'm Nathan Binge. I've never met a president before. Am I supposed to shake your hand or salute?
Whatever makes you comfortable. So, Nathan, have you ever been inside our facility before?
No, but I've driven by lots of times on my way to Country Boy Brewing.
Right now, you're standing in one of the largest automobile manufacturing plants in the world. Since we broke ground in 1986, over 12 million vehicles have rolled off our assembly line.
Sounds like you know what you're doing.
That's because our employees are great at what they do. Did you know that Toy Motor has over 8,000 employees, most of whom live right here in the community?
Sounds about right. I think I've been stuck behind every single one of them on Cherry Blossom Way, especially during shift change.
As a company, we believe that our greatest strengths can be found in our people, as well as the philosophy of Kaizen. Are you familiar with Kaizen?
No, I was raised a Baptist. But don't get me wrong, though. I respect other religions.
Kaizen isn't a religion. It's a philosophy that helps to ensure maximum quality, the elimination of waste, and improvements in efficiency.
So, why did you ask me to come out here today? Is this one of those factory tours I'm always hearing about? If it is, shouldn't you be driving around in a golf cart or something?
I invited you here because I would like to hire you.
Hire me? Why? What makes you think I'm toy motor material?
Because you think outside the box. Your ideas are bold, innovative, and revolutionary. You're just the type of person that we need here at Toy Motor. You would oversee our research and development department, designing new vehicles here at our company. What do you say? Are you interested?
Well, let me talk it over with my wife and get back to you.
Of course. Take all the time you need. Is there anything else you need before you go?
How about I ride back to my truck? This place is so damn big, I can't remember where I parked.